Got the tea break, please. Got the tea break and to adjust the mic.
I think good afternoon would actually.
We don't do such things.
Okay, sorry.
We've been sworn in and.
My apologies. I would like to start advancing socio-economic transformation of our country and equity. The PMF continues to be in South Africa in check and encourages the creation of managerial. Representing BMF in this platform is survive the additionally increases in which our members feel that. Fourthly, can ESCOM, what would the impact be on the ordinary citizen? Listen, colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Awa, for the presentation.
We are here to make informed decisions. Now, the questions that you are posing are the same questions that we want answered. What alternatives are there for ESCOM? What in decision making? Thank you, Chair.
Indicated that the BMF.
Yes, we actually have, and then one of the I would request it would be a good idea for us to see
and allow speakers to please
congratulate and good afternoon. Introduction. All three submissions that one is to create a short RCA approach are the following equate. The staff consents. If your business is decreasing, your revenue is decreasing, yet you want to increase by almost 20% to a customer year one. All three are volumes. ESCOM decides to recover it. Yet, load shedding contributed to the lower economic growth. Incurred expenditure to stay in business and had to buy generators and pay the operating cost of the generators just to stay in business of the community. It has a table at the time of
clarity from your side.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. If applied, will you really advocate
a penalty instead of secondly, in slide 7, the last bullet point where you say the RCA should be applied to cross.
Is the ability may have to be considered? I guess it is a test of its own. I just want to sorry, I may have to the ability to economic increase. We talk about to the ability to just is the of interest because do that by measuring performance of the utility with the presence of the public interest
implication. That is to look back what the market price of a ship is.
Then sufficient.
Does that extensively in our strategic. So, from a municipal perspective, we experience the same thing. Your top-end customers are moving to solar. And we are obliged to ESCOM to you that only the indemnity insurance amounts to a certain percentage indicated and said, but it would be very difficult to apply the test of efficiency to say that and the group that you are using to subsidize all of us, because in terms of our constitutional mandate.
Thank you. The next presenter
rapidly, this should be. City Water has no subsidies, so all capital and operating costs. The Free State region, local municipality, the Nala local municipality, and in the Northwest province, the Makwasi Hills local municipality. Those are other regions of City Water that was recently added, but we'll. You can see it's quite a vast, is a rural area. But I'll get back. I'd like to draw your attention. We have to be self-sufficient, Northwest and the Free State. The raw water price and so forth. The main one is the electric consumption, latest outlook, and then or less subsidies from government whatsoever. A 1%, a 3%, or a 5% increase, and I'm basing this 1, 3, and 5 only on the RCA, and I'll get back to you. Effect on our water price. I mean, a little effect on the water price. Any increase has a predominance of indigenous within the same area of indigents. The current policies from our side, so the municipalities have to find for a clearing account, so that you have the correct price for this. To Sedibeng water is we pay the notified maximum demand. If our water, the water that we provide, we actually pay for the demand and the demand, whether you use it or not. Then the other thing is we pay in the region electrification and rural subsidy. So the consumers, again, it's a question of the consumers out there not exactly sure especially in the rural areas. Again, and it should be recovered over a couple of years. Now, the major point in trying to say why the Constitution on any increase impacts this is a once-off exercise. I think there was a lot of factors contributing to the fact that it's 3 years consecutively. Urge the regulator and ESCOM look at a future cost, and it's covering mainly for the entire city.
On the presentation, Mr. Smith.
Sorry for this. One of sales predictions that don't materialize. What's one issue?
Request. I just want to see how the second question I have is on slide 15. Are you correct to understand that with ESCOM phase?
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Mr. Tippett.
The entire market, in terms of you have to anticipate or events that might take on our water tariff. So the electricity are at half price. That is what I understand on market related. Have a clearing account, then I think it's possible that one could, after committed commodity, and dams would actually go dry and but they don't do that to cut their own throats. Raise the tariff to get the income, so that in essence of the same that happens on, and then we'll sort it out later on. What is going to happen, at least in the short term, at least in the next year or the next 5 years. For that, we communicate with our developments taking place with the NMD. Maybe I don't understand exactly. I do understand the reason for NMD. If we could have such a thing in our, if we circumstances, but in general, look into. Maybe that's not that. And then the exercise with the real figure to yourself as soon as possible. The next question as well, the number of years. The proposal of 5 years. Is the real figure, is it known yet with the regional office? Then ESCOM switch, although I think history has taught us with electricity, at exactly shaded or the advertised. With water it's different that day, but used for the water boards in general is very difficult.
Mr. Tippett, just one last time the increases, and with their questions I think in support of their request, given the circumstances that Sedibeng finds itself in, are you generally in support of ESCOM's request?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I think what we're urging the regulator, and what can we do in future, like what?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. David. All right, the next presenter is Mr. Stephen.
Just past now. If the municipalities were here, it could have been an uproar, and one will take in impact to them. It has impacts to the municipalities.
Mr. Kau, please provide your own facts. The impact center to try and scrutinize the presentation of the other. So please state yours and make us understand so that we take that into consideration.
Chairperson, it's an application that case with the municipalities. So our towns are those towns that do not positions is there. I want to get into the country receive affordable electricity that is priced. Wastage is the key issue that must be reduced. The current coal contracts in the news gives concern on how contracts are managed in ESCOM. So why should we pay for these inefficiencies? Has Nersa amount to drop back to those political decisions and have our own? It's a political decision that has been taken because of any time ESCOM does not have constituency excesses which consult the community. In this looked at, I think yes, it must be revenue driven. Must also find themselves having to do the consultative processes with the communities that gets affected by whatever process that they are doing. We also say in sections, municipalities would like to know what happens if the licensee that distributes the power is inefficient. Given the shortage in coal supply at 6 power stations, Chairperson, the arrival of winter apportioned to ESCOM exceed your mandate set, especially Central. We say yes, we'll support the process going forward. So we want to, as well on that one, to say that should be the realistic. The communities are going to face the subsidy that we get from national. Saying yes, electricity is needed. We want not to play, and I don't think even that arbitrators is supposed to be the electricity board. Difficult to even project. You know, it's all projection. But now it makes difficult for July. Our budget is approved and it is there. Now this one is going to kickstart in subsidize the community for that period. And when the municipality increase, Nersa puts a ball figure that municipality, this is what we are facing, because currently this is where the crisis comes in. They are always coming and saying they want 27 or 30% or whatever percentage, inflation, and which is whatever. Then we do our budgeting based on that. So we think we are calling for them to.
And for the proposals you would like us to take into consideration. I'm going to start with Ms. Ngomo, if there are any questions of quality.
Thank you, Chairperson. Around the consultation processes, you're saying you are recommending that the increase that we should grant to ESCOM should not exceed 4% and it should be measured. Is that the correct?
Mr. Kau, because I didn't quite get the issue that you concluded with to the RCA application that is that. So perhaps to just point them out, to say we've entitled to recoup the costs related to those particular items. I think we would appreciate a more specific and direct
such contracts inefficiencies that you are of the view should be allowed, or if you could do that based on your statement with regards to how maintenance was executed, because they are part of the operational cost, so they are not included in this application. So I'm not sure really what you want us to, what exactly is there.
Has the municipalities to then fund. These are what we all know about the cost must also, I think that is what we say. Now, Question: the consultation process, like municipalities do have to do their own consultative process. ESCOM on its own. This is yours, where you are feeling, submit their applications. Do the same thing to like municipalities do in terms of the, do not input into it before we come in here. Government bails it out. But that one. So we are saying they should approach the national government, because some of the decisions, it's not their liking, it's the political situation of SALGA as it amends its own presentation. We will be able to give our inputs into it.